Welcome back everyone. Today we are trying to do something new. I'm trying to do a more like clean video with no editing and stuff like that. It's gonna be a different format, but I hope it's gonna work pretty well. So today we are gonna talk about why most TCG players never improve. And this was also an issue I had in the beginning. So sometimes it feels like, hey, I never improve and I do my best every single game, but it's never getting better. And why is that happening? Well, there's a few specific reasons. I'm going over 6 different reasons and going in depth in every single reason and trying to like explain why this stuff matters. So for starters, grinding without tracking results. What that means is you can of course do like grinding the ladder, but it doesn't really track a result. It's only saying, hey, you are this rank. What I mean when I say grinding without tracking results, I mean you are going on a grind and trying to just say, okay, I want to hit this rank. Okay, but what did that accomplish? What did that tell you about your skill level? Except you were able to hit that rank once. When we are looking, I'm looking into like the results. I am not looking into what rank did I hit. I'm looking into how consistent was I with the deck. How often did I win matchups I was supposed to lose? And when did I make mistakes? Like going over every single game, trying to look back at it and see, okay, so if I did this, what will happen then? For example, yesterday I played in the tournament in the evening, and I couldn't seem to get the deck running. And instead of just keep pushing, trying to get the deck to run, I said, okay, this is not gonna work. After the first 3 games, I lost all 3 because I was not in the mindset of playing at at like a high stakes tournament. Even though it was just online, it still is something you need to keep in mind. Okay, you are not really doing much here, you are just trying, but you are not really getting anything out of these games. Like, if you don't play a deck and don't feel like playing, you don't get anything out of the game. And therefore, I decided, okay, you know what, let's stop it. It's late, so first of all, my brain is tired. Second of all, I am not getting in the results I want to get in. So when you track results, you need to track, okay, do I win the matchups I should win every single time? Do I play perfectly? Like, do I make mistakes while playing? And am I playing this deck how it's supposed to be played, or do I go different lines when compared to what I usually do? How can I play these different lines? Like, testing every single line should not be happening when you're playing tournaments, but only when you're playing like casually. So definitely track your results, like see, do I win more than I lose, and like how is everything going when I'm playing tournaments. Second thing is deck hopping versus deck mastery. And this is one that I will probably get some critique for. So what I mean with deck hopping versus deck mastery is some people like to switch between decks. They like to have 5 or 6 different decks. They can always pick whatever they want to play on the day. And well, if you are a very, very good player and you spend like 6 hours a day every single day, sure you can do that. But for the average player, which are just you spending like maybe max an hour a day, you don't have the skill level to deck hop. And that should not be anything you see as a bad thing. It actually just shows, okay, I have something I do besides playing. And if you are like me and have a work life on the side of playing the game, I would say pick maybe 2 or 3 decks and then learn those so well that you will not lose on those. Learn different variants of the same deck instead of building completely new decks. That's where you get the mastery. For example, I know if I see the grass matchup, okay, Grimstone is not my way to win. It's going for Frost Slashes and Monkey Dories, moving the damage around. Okay, I see this matchup, I'm going this line. Like, knowing every single line into every single matchup is a big part of deck mastery. And also, like, when you master your deck, you are getting way more confident with a slow game. Um, what that means is you are able to play more consistent into stuff like control or like heavy setup decks or dragapult or spread damage. You know how to play into every single matchup, and that's a big thing. Especially if you want to play competitively, then you need a lot of deck mastery. And therefore, for example, I'm picking 3 decks this tournament season. I am building Eevee Box, I am building Insorak, and I'm building Grimmsnarl. Those 3 decks will be like my stable core for what I'm playing this entire 2026. Uh, what do you call it? Late season, like after Worlds, and then until 2027 April, where we have next rotation. In that entire period, I will only be sticking to the same 3 main archetypes, and then try to change them depending on what is good, what is bad, what does the meta say you need to play. And then pick from those 3 every single tournament. Okay, grass is popular, I'm going Eevee box, because then I have Flareon to counter these big Venusaurs and stuff like that. Okay, Dragapult is popular. Then I can go either Zorak or Eevee box. Okay, we have a setup meta, then I can go Grimmsnarl because I can utilize the spread damage. And always be aware of what is your options into every single format. Like, what does these decks do well into? What do they not do well into? That's a big part of the deck mastery. The first thing is not reviewing mistakes. Instead of saying, okay, the deck bricked me, that's why I lost. Okay, sometimes that's the thing. It happens also to me. It happens to everyone. Even the best players in the world experience breaks. But you need to look into why are you losing majority of your games. Do you make mistakes? And review those mistakes, like go into depth. What did I do wrong? How could I have won this if I played it differently? That's a very key thing. Um, and that's also like one of the most important things and the thing that separates the good players from the top level players is top level is reviewing mistakes, good players are not. They are still good because they have probably a lot of deck mastery and they still know like how does this deck work against this matchup. But if they don't review their mistakes, then they don't get better at it. And step 4 is playing emotionally. What I mean by that is you should always focus on what is the best way to win and the most consistent. Not being like, oh, I top decked the rare candy, then I can do this line and just go for an attack. For example, in Charizard, if you top deck a rare candy and you have Sard in hand and an Ultra Ball, instead of just saying, okay, I commit to instant Sard, if you have the Pidgey on bench, you should always go for the Pidgeot. Because that gives consistency, that keeps you winning, where the Sard only helps you for a certain amount of time. So it's very important to like play for what is actually the best option in this specific game, instead of just playing for what do you feel like playing. And also that goes a little bit back to deck hopping, because deck hopping usually comes from an emotional state of, okay, I don't like this deck because the last 2 times I played it, I lost with it. Well, if it's a deck you are very, very familiar with, then still go for it. You can still win with it and you can still improve with it. And you cannot win every single game. And you need to be able to say, okay, it's fine, I lost a game. Clean mindset, go into game 2. Or, okay, I lost first round of this tournament. Or, oh well, I lost my winning in of the first one of them. Then I have to reset, get back into the next one. So a lot of this like mental stability and being able to mentally reset between every single round is very, very important. And then we come to the hardest one in my opinion. It's the fifth one. Avoiding bad matchup instead of learning them. It's something even I sometimes struggle with. Personally, I would prefer to avoid playing Grassbox with Grimmsnarls, but I also know, okay, it's a matchup I need to learn. Because there will always be bad matchups in a tournament setting. You can never avoid them. You have to use the time and learn these insanely difficult matchups. Um, I actually played a tournament with with my Gengar here Friday, and the only reason I've actually ended up winning it was a League Cup in my local league. The only reason I won was because I was okay about playing these tough matchups and I had learned them instead of just saying, you know what, I don't want to learn them, I just skip them and pray I don't hit them. That will not get you any big results, it will not help you get better. Where if you instead say, okay, you know what, this is a tough matchup, I want to learn it, but it's not fun to learn. You could sit down and then you say, okay, we have 4 people here, let's do a big grind session, practice session. Can I play against this and this and this? So you get that experience with these specific matchups. When you sit down and you focus on one at a time and mastering this matchup, how do you win this one? What can you do? And then number 6, which is the most important one in my opinion, is the competitive mindset shift. So the casual player is thinking about, okay, I want to have fun and I want to play what I enjoy. Okay, that's fair. But when you play competitively, you should still focus on having fun. But it's also very, very important that you are able to say, okay, this is a boring line to play, but it's the correct line to play. So instead of focusing on what is the fun line, focusing on which line will get you the edge on your opponent and being able to like play without getting feeling too much and more about like playing in the moment and focus on that specific game and think a few turns ahead. You need to think already before it happens. What do I do if my opponent does this or that? Like, okay, you are playing into someone who plays Judge. Okay, you get a new 4 card hand. Can you still play out of that? And what card can I use to get back into the game if I get a bad hand and stuff like that. So you need to be very, very aware of like this big shift mentally when you play competitively versus for fun. If you're a casual player, this doesn't matter to you. If you just want to improve but not go competitively, I would focus on the first 5 spots or 5 checkpoints. But if you want to play competitively, you need to get this competitive mindset because there is such a big difference between playing casually and competitively. And you can see it on all the top players. Look at Todd, look at Nikolai Stibor, or any of the big players. Like, they are so great, and it's all because they are able to make this mental shift into competitive mode. And this is the structure I am committing to play by, and how I want to improve as well. Um, and this is the reason why some players doesn't improve is because they are grinding without tracking results, deck hopping instead of mastering it, not reviewing mistakes, and playing emotionally are the like 4 big ones. The fifth and sixth are more in the competitive aspect. It's fair if you don't want to play competitively, you avoid bad matchups. If you don't find them fun and you don't want to play tournaments, fair enough, avoid them. But if you want to play tournaments, definitely practice them. And you should focus way more on the bad matchups than the good ones. Because if you can win 50% of your bad matchups and win 90% of your good matchups, then at some point you will have a deep, deep tournament run and probably be able to compete at regional levels or even better at ICs and probably also worlds. It's like if you're able to compete with the top, want to be able to compete with the top of the players, focus these 6 things to improve on. If you want to play casually but still be good, focus on the top 4 things. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. It means the world to me. I am trying to hit 1,000 subs this year. So it would be so awesome if we could do that together as a community. Let me know down below if there's anything you want me to like make a video on down in the comments. So see you guys for next time. Peace out from here. Stay safe and take care. See ya.